Hey guys, so this is another video. Apologies, I've not uploaded for a while, but I've had a realization, right? So a lot of the time I'm working, I'm busy, I'm tired, I don't have time to do videos, but this is really my passion. I love doing this, I love doing calculations. But on the weekends, when I just want to relax and strategize, a lot of the time I'm in bed. So this is my bed here. And I'm thinking, how am I going to record the video? I need to go there, I need to set up all the equipment. And then I realized, why do I do all that? So I'm going to be in bed. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you what I'm working through today. Today's going to be about mortgages, and hopefully you enjoy it. So let's try this video and see how it goes. So today I want to talk about mortgages. I've got a mortgage. A lot of my family members have a mortgage. It's a really common thing in the society. So I want to just analyze it a bit more and understand a bit better how does a mortgage work. So let's put here mortgage. I've made a few tabs that I think you're going to find interesting. But firstly, let's just define what we're trying to do in this session and in this exercise. So with mortgages, you have repayment and you have interest only. That's the two types of mortgages. Realistically, repayment is a bit of a difficult one because you borrow a certain amount and then every month you pay partly towards the interest, which is the profit for the bank or the fee that you're paying for using the facility of borrowing money, and then partly to the actual amount. So if you borrowed 100 grand, every month you'll be paying part towards that paying off of 100 grand and then part towards the interest. That's a normal repayment mortgage. Interest only is where you borrow 100 grand, you only pay the interest for the amount of the mortgage, and at the end of the mortgage, you still owe the bank that same 100 grand. So it's a little bit different, but for this exercise, I want to focus on repayment mortgage because it's quite a complicated one, and I want to figure out how that split of capital and interest works. I want to take a normal 20-year mortgage. That's a normal amount of time. People usually take them at different ages, but usually when they're quite young. And a lot of the time, if it's not a crazy amount of the mortgage, then you'll be looking at 20 to 25 years, most likely. Interest, I want to look at 5% annual interest. And I wanted to look at 5% annual interest, and I want to look at 10% annual interest. I want to have no additional fees, and just keeping it realistic, just say the mortgage amount is 100,000. So for this exercise, forget about any deposits. Just think about taking a mortgage, a repayment mortgage for 20 years at either 5 or 10% interest, no additional fees, and the amount that you're taking is going to be £100,000. So that's the conditions that I want to set for this exercise. So let's get started. I've already done a lot of the work, and well, to be fair, I've looked online for a lot of it, so it wasn't really my achievement. But I'm going to talk you through those numbers. So I've broken down the years. So you're going from year 0, where you owe 100 grand and you haven't paid anything. I've hidden that for now. To then year 1, where you are reducing your debt by paying towards the capital and interest, all the way up to year 20. So this is column A. Then we've got remaining debt. So as you can see, after year 1, that's the capital debt. After year 1, it goes down to 97, and it keeps going down to 0 after year 20. So as you can see, it decreases gradually. Then this shows you every year how much you pay towards the capital of the mortgage. So how much do you pay actually towards paying off the mortgage? As you can see, that one is quite interesting. You start off with 2,000, and then cumulative, you get up to 100k. Interest, it just shows again cumulatively what you pay. So as you can see, already a bit of a giveaway. In the first year, you pay £2,986 in capital towards the mortgage, and you pay almost double that in interest. And then cumulatively, the interest adds up, and then you end up paying a certain amount of interest. And then this is the total cumulatively. So for this mortgage in particular, you are, as we already said, this one is 5%, £100,000, 20 years. That's the conditions that we've got here. So for 100k of borrowing over the 20 years, you will pay back, if you're fixed at 5% throughout the whole time, or you're averaging at 5% interest, you will pay £158,400. So you're looking at £58,400 in interest over the 20-year period. Is it good? Is it bad? It's up to the different people to judge. Some will say it's amazing because of inflation. Some will look at it and be like, oh my god, I'm taking 100 paying out almost 160 back. It's horrible. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here just to understand how the capital and the interest works during that time. So for that, I know that for this mortgage, 100k, 5%, 20 years, the monthly repayment is £660. So every year you'll be paying £7,920, and we assume no overpayments. And here I've split out how much goes towards capital and interest every month. I've done it in a pretty logical way, and any mortgage that you take with those terms, those are going to be the numbers. So it's not just me making something up, this is the numbers. So then what I did is I plotted it on a graph, and now I want to kind of explore it myself, but then also get you guys involved into analyzing this graph. So let's just have a look at the graph here. So as you can see, the line in green is the capital, is how much you pay towards the capital as the years goes on, and the line in blue is how much you pay towards the interest as the years go on. As you can see here, in year one, you pay significantly more in interest than you do in capital. Maybe I was a bit strict saying that it's double. It's not quite double, but as you can see, you're paying £3,000 towards capital and you're paying £5,000 towards interest. So this really shows you that the first few years you are paying more interest than capital. So from your £660 a month, more than half of it goes to interest. That they catch up around year 7. Around year 7 is where you're roughly paying equal amount of capital and interest. So your £660 a month is about £330 interest and £330 capital. And then after year 7, things go well for you, and you're paying more towards capital and less towards interest. So after year 7, more than half of what you're paying goes towards capital, and less than half goes towards interest. So that magic point really is here around year 7. That's what I've been trying to work out, and hopefully that gives you an idea as well. And as you get to the end point of that graph, say year 19, you are paying 584, 7,300. So you are paying majority, 90% towards the capital. So from your £660, maybe 600 will be for capital and only 60 for interest. So what that means is that the banks really like this initial period because they're getting the most interest from you, which is why they don't like you to be overpaying too much at the start, and they really like to get this initial 7 years where more than half of what you're paying them is interest. So okay, I think that makes sense. So from this analysis, what we've shown is that at 5% mortgage over 20 years, you are looking at 7 years paying more interest than capital, and then after year 7, starting to pay less interest and more capital, which is where things kind of get better for you. Now, I've done exactly the same thing, but this time it's a 10% interest. It is £100,000 as before, and it's also 20 years. So we've kept everything exactly the same, but we are now saying that the economy has changed, and now the interest is not 5%, it's 10%. So how does that change things? Well, firstly, for the same amount of money of borrowing, you'll be having a higher monthly payment. In the last one, your monthly payment was £660. In this one, you are £965 a month. So an increase in interest, of course, can significantly increase your monthly payment. And in here, the picture is actually quite different. So you've also got 20 years, but let's just examine the graph. Okay, so let's have a look. You've also got 20 years of repayments, but just look at this. Because of the different interest, you start off for your first 14 years, you're paying more interest than capital. So instead of 7 years, it is 14 years. So now, before it was less than half, remember? Now you're paying at the start £1,655 per year towards capital and almost 10,000 towards interest. So what is that? I mean, that's like more than 5 times as much. So it's only 5% extra in interest, but look at the difference. Look at the amount of extra interest you actually have to pay. So you just keep overpaying interest, and you're actually chipping very little away from the actual capital amount, that 100k that you borrowed. Most of the money you're paying is just to service that debt, which is not very good. And yeah, only at year 14 you're paying the same. So as I said, the monthly payment was £965 a month. So only at year 14, so when you're more than halfway through your mortgage term, you're paying the same. So for £960, about £480 interest, £480 capital, and after that it drops off relatively sharply and the capital increases exponentially. So again, this shows you that any companies that will give you higher interest rates, banks, etc., the profits they have from it are very significant. And this initial area for them is just a gold mine. As you've just taken your 100k mortgage, first year at 10% interest, you're paying the same monthly payment, but most of that, a huge percentage of that, goes straight to the bank profit, and only a little bit goes away from your balance. So that's quite an interesting observation. So now let's have a look and compare the amount paid overall. So at 10% over 20 years, you're going to pay £231,605. So you've borrowed 100,000, you're going to pay back £231,605. So more than double you're paying back. And then at 5%, same thing, you're paying back £158,400. So that's nowhere near double, it's an extra 58%, whereas in here it's an extra 130%. So yeah, very, very significant, very, very significant. Okay, so I think that answers most of the questions that I've had, and hopefully it helps you as well. We've looked at the repayment, mortgage, 20 years, 5 or 10% interest, no additional fees, and £100,000 amount. We found that at 5%, you're looking at I say a break even, but the point where the interest and the capital you pay is roughly the same. It's at year 7. So it's the first 7 years that are really expensive for you as a person who's got the mortgage. After year 7, things get better because you keep paying more and more and more towards the capital and less and less and less towards the interest. But if you increase it to 10%, that changes dramatically, and you're actually overpaying for interest for 14 years, so double the amount of time. I did not know that, but it's quite an interesting observation. I would urge you to have a look at what mortgage have you got or what mortgage you're looking to take, and do the same analysis. Just have a look at it and say, okay, if I'm going to take this mortgage, how is it going to work with repayment versus capital? And then after how many years will I be paying roughly equal interest in repayment? After how many years will I be paying significantly more towards the capital than the interest? So interesting exercise, gave me a bit more of an understanding of how the mortgages operate and how the banks make money and why the banks put certain stops in place to protect their profits once you've taken the mortgage, and hopefully also helped yourself. So thank you for watching, and looking forward to do more analysis in the next video.